Banjir bandang melanda Pulau Adonara, Kabupaten Flores Timur, Nusa Tenggara Timur menyebabkan puluhan orang meninggal dunia. Dikutip dari Antara, pada hari Minggu 4 April malam kemarin, Wakil Bupati Flores Timur Agustinus Payangboli menyebutkan jumlah korban yang ditemukan meninggal dunia berjumlah 54 warga dari yang sebelumnya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. My name is Najwa Salsabila Mantika. My ID is 2902713571. And I'm from International Relation in Venus University. And today I want to present you guys some my findings of my final paper. And our topic address for today is a critical issue at the interaction of international relation and environment policy when global crisis meets global failure, deforestation, and governance deficits in vulnerability to Cyclone Seroja 2021 in Nusa Tenggara Timur. Okay, first of all, I want to tell you guys what is climate change. Actually, climate change refers to long-term shift in weather patterns and average temperature, leading to change in ecosystem, sea level, and weather events. Okay. To begin, we establish the context is the catastrophic convergence, where we establish the context. Seroja was a monumental climate shock in April in 2021. It became one of the strongest tropical cyclones to hit Nusa Tenggara Timur in decades, confirming the reality of escalating global climate crisis. However, the tragedy's magnitude, with hundreds of casualties and widespread damage, was not just due to high wind. So the destruction was primarily caused by several flash floods and lethal landslides. This one leads to our central question, like why did predictable weather even result in such an unpredictable local catastrophe? So the severity was clearly amplified by chronic local policy and governance failures. Okay, next one is theoretical lens by Michael Zern. To answer this, we utilize the theoretical framework of Michael Zern, especially his concept vertical concentration in global governance. So Zern argues that the fundamental tension exists between two forces. The first one is global authority, but represented by, here by international climate mandates demanding resilience and the state's sovereign autonomy and its right to control domestic policy. This tension creates an effectiveness gap that a failure to achieve globally agreed upon goals do obstacle at the domestic level. So like there's a global authority for international climate norms, sovereign and disaster manifest to the effectiveness gap. Well, I think I want to back to theoretical lens by Michael Zern because uh, maybe Zern will apply to Nusa Timur too. Like we apply this directly to Indonesia, where global authority dictates that Indonesia must build resilience, specific tools for doing so, such enforcing land use laws, managing forests, and controlling local waste, fall under the highly protected umbrella of sovereign autonomy. The Seroja disaster demonstrates that this autonomy was not utilized responsibly. Instead, it became a shield, allowing local policy failures to persist undetected and unchallenged by the global regime, resulting in the failure of the overall resilience system. And then the next one, I'm gonna tell you guys about some core failure from this disaster. So first one, there's chronic deforestation, where and central to our title is the critical of chronic deforestation when Soroja delivered it instant rainfall, the loss of forest cover in critical watersheds. Particularly in areas like Adonara, meant the soil could not absorb the water. So this lack of natural defense transformed heavy rain into instant destructive debris flows or like banjir bandang, and this failure in environmental management is clear. long-term lapse in responsible exercise of domestic autonomy, which directly magnified the crisis. Second one, there's governance deficit in spatial planning. So the second major one is many of the homes tragically destroyed were located in high-risk zone, built along riverbanks and old flood pathway. Local governments possess the autonomous authority to enforce zoning regulation, bisa dibilang RT/RW, and carry out necessary relocation. However, the persistent failure to enforce these protective measures, despite the no hazard, show a significant governance deficit. The state possesses the powers to save life, but fail to exercise the political will to do so. And the last one is the capacity and resources. So, finally, the crisis was exacerbated by this debilitation capacity gap. Local disaster management agency, the BPBD, were severely constrained by insufficient funding personnel and equipment. This means that even the best policies and warnings cannot be translated into effective action. In Zern terms, the foremost sovereign autonomy of the local state is undermined by its own resource limitation, leaving the population defenseless when the global shock arrives. Okay, the next one is the conclusion of analysis. So the first one I'm gonna tell you about Cyclone Seroja was a policy case. To include the analytical section, Cyclone Saroja was not simply a natural disaster, actually. It was like a policy calamity. It was tragedy determined by a lethal meeting point, a severe global climate shock, exploit chronic domestic weakness, namely deforestation, and failed spatial planning and low local capacity. The result is a devastating effectiveness gap that challenges the very legitimacy and governance at both the global and domestic levels. Sorry. So yeah, we can see that the result is devastating effectiveness gap. Okay, last one I want to tell you guys about policy recommendation. The first one is immediate relocation. Well, I want to tell you guys about honestly, um, second one is strict enforcement, three investment, and the last one is shift focus from reactive recovery to long-term ecosystem-based adaptation. Our policy recommendation must focus on correcting the failures within the state's autonomous sphere. So, first, the state must resist its control, though robust enforcement. This means implementing urgent, non-negotiable relocation programs for communities in high risk zone, and imposing strict, transparent penalties for all violation and land use and environmental laws. Second, the restoration must be built through long-term ecosystem-based adaptation like EBA. This is not about building more seawalls, but about healing the land. We need substantial and sustained investment in watershed restoration and large-scale reforestation in the upstream areas of NTT. So restoring the ecosystem natural capacity is the most fundamental way to protect the region from future climate shocks. In final summary, the Saraja case confirms Zern's framework to effectively confront the escalating global climate crisis. The focus must shift from complex international negotiation to domestic political will. The state must urgently address its internal deficit and utilize its sovereign autonomy with accountability, integrity, and competence. Only then Indonesia can successfully close the effectiveness gap and protect its vulnerable population. That's all from me. Thank you.